Hello everyone, welcome to Unit 3 review of early graduation. So in the preview, we talked about Jack Rico, a young boy who had, well, a higher intelligence than I think many people. Very smart and started memorizing things from a very young age. But in his third grade year, his school kind of changed their teaching curriculum and style, and he started doing bad. Whether that was because of lack of interest or engagement or boredom in that class, he started flunking out. Flunk out.
Flunk out.
Well, you know, there's usually two recourses or two ways of correcting this. One, the child is kind of, pulled back and maybe has to redo a year, or they're put into these learning disability classes, kind of treated much different. And well, sometimes very smart kids can fall through those cracks. We miss a chance to educate them. And well, the parents didn't want that happening, so they withdrew him from school, started homeschooling him. And it did very well because at age 13, he got an associate's degree from a community college. Associate's degree.
Associate's degree.
When, most kids started going to high school, he already did 2 years, and he got a full ride scholarship to the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And at age 15, graduated with a bachelor's.
Wow.
As amazing story. And it's crazy to think of what could have been if he had just flunked out, went to a disability class.
Right.
Clearly he's intelligent, and something was going on with the way he was engaged. And so I kind of wanted to ask you a little more about the homeschooling aspect. Is, how familiar are you with homeschool, or how common is that for kids in your area?
I'm not all that familiar with it because I wasn't homeschooled, and not being homeschooled, most of my friends also weren't homeschooled because I met them in school. But I think that homeschooling in general in the US is quite common for a variety of reasons. So in many cases, it is for kids like Jack who are just not getting what they need from the school system, either because they need more support. So in some cases, it is because they're a little bit slower. But in many cases, it's because it's just boring and it's not advanced enough. And so they want to progress at a faster rate. And in many cases in America, it's for religious reasons. So there are a lot of people who don't really agree with the curriculum in schools, and they want to teach their children themselves. Do you have any experience with homeschooling or anybody around you who was homeschooled?
Well, I personally was homeschooled, so that's surprising. A lot of people are shocked by that. But from essentially kindergarten to 6th grade, I was homeschooled. That's a good chunk of early education. And when I went to public school, they, of course, make homeschoolers take a test of entrance, see what grade you're in. That's appropriate. I had tested 2 levels higher, and my brother's 4 years older, and so he would have been 4 years ahead of me, and he did not want his younger brother just 2 years behind.
2 years behind, okay.
So because of that, my mother put me in my age-appropriate level, but that first year, I do remember being very bored in class because I had already, not mastered, but I had learned a lot of this, and so it was very easy. Classes where I was practically acing many of the classes. Now, I'm not saying I'm super intelligent. Let me backtrack real quick. It was just, I think, I credit my mother teaching me very harshly and sternly, and I was learning a lot quickly. So homeschooling does also require the parents to have ability to teach or, the temperance and
it's a lot of responsibility for the parents.
You don't just let your kids sit there and, do this book. There's a lot of engagement. And my mother made me read and study and engage so many things, and I credit that. So I do think that parents, if they're able to, should for whatever reason, as you mentioned, a few reasons, religious or the economic situation or maybe what's provided. If they can provide better education at home, they should be allowed to. So that's kind of my opinion on that. And I don't know Korea's laws regarding homeschool, but I would imagine it's not a common thing here.
I think it is technically allowed, but I've never really heard of widespread homeschooling in Korea.
And socially, I would imagine that'd be very hard.
Right.
Yeah. All right, well, if you're thinking about it, look and see what you can do. Maybe your kid can graduate early, like Jack. But that's it for the review section, and we'll see you on the next one.